All right, and I'm back. I'm doing a little semi-review of the Penetrator by Crosman, or in 17, the Golden Flight. I know, cute name. They're the same. Only difference is this one is completely flat on the bottom. See how it's flat? That one's flat. This one's got a little cup to it, like a pellet does. But other than that, I can't see much of a difference. Alright, so if you're shooting somewhere and they don't want you to use lead, go for this. Now, I don't know what this metal is made out of, but it's supposed to be hard. And it is hard. I've shot it at a 55-gallon drum. It dented the shit out of the drum. In a couple cases, it cracked, put a little tiny pinhole in it, but it didn't go through. But it didn't deform. It hit the ground, and it looked just like it looked before I put it in the rifle chamber. So if you're shooting something like, I'm gonna say large raccoons, large possums, gophers, stuff like that. We got plenty of gophers in the South. If you're shooting something like that, I suggest these two pellets. One's 17, one's 22. Obviously, if the animal is the size of a raccoon, you should probably use a 22. But I'm pretty sure if you shoot it in the face with this will do the job too. But it'd probably be more humane. This is my favorite pellet for, I would say, just something heavier and long range. And I know you're like, long range, Nick. Well, as you see, that there's no pinch on the side of these. Now, skirts have a pinch to them. I don't have another pellet near me. But if you shoot a pellet rifle, you'll notice that a pellet is pinched in at the waist, and that waist makes it slow down. The further it goes, the slower it gets. In the case of these, even though they weigh a little more, they got a better drag coefficient. That means they hold their speed at a longer distance better than an average pellet. My friend that is in my video, check out my video of the 85-yard shot. He shoots it with my gun. He shoots it with his gun. He shoots it like 25 times and doesn't miss. 85 yards was like nothing for him. He even did one in 120. The only reason I didn't video it is because I videoed it, but it wasn't near as smooth because it took him quite a few more shots. But he tried a couple of these pellets, and they did not have the same droop down range as a regular pellet did. He shot it, and he hit the target. He only hit the target like 3 times. So, in case you're wondering, can you shoot something with a break barrel pellet rifle at 100 yards? I'm pretty sure you can, because it was a windy day. He was shooting across 5 or 6 backyards, and so that was like a puff of air every time his projectile went past a house or a building. And there were like 6 or 7 obstructions of wind. So it wasn't an easy shot. And at 125 yards, he still hit a 10-inch target. So I can only imagine what he's going to do on a calm day. He made it easy for me. He just told me where what the point of my aim reference is and go for it. So I didn't even miss the target one time because he did all the work for me. But once it gets a little cooler, because it's October, still pretty warm in the South. You know, my garden's still kicking. Once it gets a little cooler and it seems like there's not a very still day, I'm going to go back and do a video of a 125-yard shot because I think it's cool to shoot something that far. When you shoot at an 85-yard target, you can literally see the projectile fall into your scope vision and right on the target. So it's kind of cool to just see it fall right on the target, even though it's moving slower than a bullet. It's still satisfying to hit that steel target from a long way. So that's my opinion of the penetrator. If you're trying to shoot something real long range and you've got it sighted in, it's perfect because it's got a better drag coefficient than the average pellet. If you're shooting something that I almost said dangerous game. Ain't nothing dangerous about a raccoon, I guess. I don't know. It could. That raccoon and possible could jump out and attack you and your dog, be honest with you, but it's a rarity. I have chickens. They get in the coop. They eat my feed, so I have a legit reason for dispatching them. But I would say this is a go-to pellet. The only thing I can complain about the pellet is please make the 22 a similar color as the 17. Make it a darker green. I don't like that bright red at all. I don't want to ever find this thing laying on the ground. So I'm not a fan of it having a giant red ass. So, they're expensive. I'll go ahead and tell you. For a pellet, you're gonna spend $10 for these. But I think it's worth it. It shoots relatively accurate out of my beaming. Not relatively, pretty accurate. It's not far from the impact point. I just have to hold up a hair. The 17, it was about the same way. It didn't change much of its trajectory other than it weighs a little more, so I had to aim slightly up. But two great pellets. Expensive, but definitely worth the money. So continue your day and have fun.